Hello, my name is Danielle St. John. I am running for Congress in California's 49th District. And today I wanted to talk to you about money in politics. I know it's not the first time I've talked about it, but so a little quick story. I posted, I think, yesterday that I've been going, I keep getting these notifications, like every time Doug Applegate, somebody posts something in a group, a 49th district Facebook group, I get notifications. And so I keep seeing these Doug Applegate ads coming in through these groups, and that I should be influencing. So I just started posting my latest live stream every time I saw a Doug Applegate ad, right? So, but this last time, yesterday, I noticed that there was a little banner up on the top, like they do with RT. It's like Russian funded or whatever. But I guess if it's an ad that is politically oriented, now their new rule is, since they got in trouble, is that they are they're putting this banner on top to say who it's paid for, right? So, and this one was paid for, I think it was California 2020. So, I just started kind of digging down this rabbit hole a little bit. I do that on a lot of things, but it took me to Open Secret, and it was a PAC that had like close to $30,000 in it. There was two people. That's it, and I believe that all they do is buy ads with it, right? Probably just for Doug Applegate. So then I went a little bit deeper and I pulled up the numbers for my district, and it was shocking. So let me just bring this up so you guys can see.
Got it?
No, it's not going to it's still up with the Paul Kerr thing.
Oh, we got to go back here. Oh. You did that and it didn't switch?
Mm-mm. Sorry, guys, hold on. Maybe I'll go back and forth on this.
You think? I was going to just change this setting here.
Okay.
Oh, you're on Safari.
Oh, that's why. Okay. All right, there we go. All right. Okay, very good. So this is a summary of the money raised so far by candidate, right? And this is $11 million. And and I wanted to just remind people that, so $11 million, okay, for an election, okay, maybe. Well, 2016, the average raised was, for the winners, was in California, was $1.5 million. We were able to fill out our paperwork in the middle of February to even run for this position. So that means that 3 months, this guy raised this. Look at this Paul Kerr guy. Look at the number one, this is just maddening. At $4.5 million about just for in 3 months for a primary. Like, what's going to happen in the general, right? So, and then we've got Sarah Jacobs. Here's the thing, Paul Kerr. Nobody saw that coming. Like, there were a couple Democrats that were in this race competing. Sarah Jacobs is the establishment pick. Doug Applegate is the progressives kind of pick. And then there was Mike Levin, who I only thought he was a little bit of a threat because he's advertising himself as an environmentalist, and that's a big issue for people. And so they naturally gravitate to words like environmentalist, but he's not. He's an environmental lawyer, and he actually works for the other side. Like, he works for the corporations. So, but he's like selling himself to progressives as if he's an environmentalist, and he's just gonna like sell, fracking pipelines. Like, it's just not good. But he's, but that's really why I thought he was even a threat. Now Paul Kerr, like, Whoa, $4.5 million. Now that means that he's going to have his name and his face in front of voters in District 49 to the tune of $4.5 million. So that will make an impact. And I'm sure like this he's like a super Democrat now. Like I'm sure Tom Perez is somewhere making him a plaque for his excellent service to.
You gotta raise a lot of money.
Yeah, right? I mean, to get a plaque?
More
I think
money.
so. Mm-hmm.
Tom Perez likes that.
Right. So this to me is just, just very, very shocking that this is, we are, last year was ridiculous with the $1.5 million, right? $2 million just to compete, right? $11 million for the primary. This is just crazy. So basically what they've done though, so now they've made 4 Democrats viable, right? So all 4 Democrats are near, like the lowest one is Doug Applegate, right? And he's already got the name recognition. So that's just nuts. So basically they're just gonna, cannibalize each other. They're each, they're gonna dilute their own vote. So you've got these blue no matter who's that are just, they're split. And then on the Republican side, everybody's afraid of the Republicans. Oh, we have to, everybody has to vote for one Democrat in particular, and nobody can seem to decide on which Democrat to vote for. But if you don't, then there's going to be just two Republicans in the primary or in the general. No, there's 7 Republicans. They are deluding themselves too, and nobody's really focusing on the fact that the biggest voting block here is no party preference, right? So. Nobody's going after the no party preference, and they're registered voters. So the Dems like try to put out these numbers as as if only Democrats are going to vote, and it's just look what happened with the 2016 elections. It's like everybody knew with the poll numbers that Trump was not going to win and Hillary was going to win. If you believe poll numbers, Hillary was the president of the world, it's, she just, so I don't really think that poll numbers really are as accurate as they once were. I think the Democrats are in some trouble because they're not putting out polls, really. I know I've taken, maybe 10 surveys so far, because I'm just a likely voter, and I've been a Democrat most of my life, so I'm still on that list, right, of people. So since I've taken these surveys, I know that my name isn't brought up. It's just the Democrats, and then they link them up to the Republicans, and that's it. It's like, and they match them up and say, from this person to this person, what would you choose? And if the election is tomorrow, who would you vote for? And they give you a list, right, of all of the Democrats, right, or other. So with this list of likely Democratic voters, without them even throwing my name into the mix, I still got 1% of the vote. So that's just the Dem vote, which is already sliced 4 ways, right? So then there's this long list of Republicans. I know that people are just going to not want to research all of those, and even if they do, it's split 4 ways now. So that's, split 7 ways now. So there's, it's just, I don't know. I think, you guys, I have a really good shot, I guess is kind of what I'm trying to say, is that there's mostly no party preference voters, and the 2 main parties are split. And I grew up in this district, right? So just name recognition. So now, what does it mean that, why am I different? Like, what can I do for you that these other people who have the ability, obviously, to raise lots of money, I guess that's good on some kind of resume. But basically what I can do that most of the candidates in this race can't do is I can represent the people completely without my vote being purchased. I've not accepted any of this money. I don't have to really think of, where I'm going to be getting my money in the next election, because I didn't do it in this election, right? So Paul Kerr's vote has been, it's been purchased 4.5 million times before he gets anywhere near his constituents. It's like, this is what I'm talking about. This is a great real-time, very, relevant example to me, is that this person has raised $4.5 million. That money came from somewhere, and it is an insulation to the people. It makes
Not
it
even in your district.
right.
The money.
What's that?
The money came from not even in your district.
Right. Yeah. The money doesn't even come with them. It's like a horse race. Like there's these people are like betting on the best horse to make them the most money. It's kind of disgusting. It kind of makes me feel like I want to vomit. So $11 million. I would say, and this is debatable, but let's say that this is the primary, which I assume that most of the money that's raised in these congressional runs isn't really raised in the primary. I think that that if I made it into the general, I bet you I would be getting the floodgates would open, right? So basically, it's these. Oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. Shoot. Okay. Anyway, so basically, I think that this is just a really great example of all of this money. It's being thrown at. I got it. The general. All this money is just in the primary. I assume that there'll be double that amount raised, right, in the general. So let's say $22 million is going to be thrown at this race, and what could $22 million do for our community, right? Like there are so many things that we could fund. We could fund community centers. We could fund education, buses. Anywhere in San Diego, there's virtually any districts left that have school buses. Like that's just what could we do with this money? It kind of feels like it's a really good, clear example of the fact that the people with money would rather throw enough money into this political system to change people's lives. They could give that money to causes that would change the lives of the people for the better over and over and over again. But they choose to put it into this system because that's where they're going to get the most money back, right? They're going to get what they want. They don't care about us. They never really have cared about it. And they never have cared about us. So I think that we have an opportunity to make history, right? So you've got a green candidate that isn't taking any corporate money. It'd be the first green in history, right? Talk about splitting votes. It's like, well, if you are worried about the Republicans getting more seats, well, no, you should support Greens because whatever rainbows and unicorn, progressive ideas that you want to get passed as a progressive Democrat, any Green would be fully on board, right, with supporting it, right? So it's not like you're losing a vote unless you think that every party is going to just look out for themselves. And I really don't think that's what the Green Party is about. I think they are the party that wants to represent the people. They want, and that is their agenda, right? So their vote is going to go along those lines, right? There's not going to be any war votes with the Greens. So that's really, I want to show you just a little bit of where this $11 million is coming from. Close this tab, so let me just reopen.
Well, first, Christiane, thank you for being here and doing this, and thanks to everybody who supports.
Oops, okay. So here we go. Where's this?
We both represent Southern California in Congress.
We're both Democrats.
And we're both endorsing Sarah Jacobs. Democrats have a shot at Darrell Issa's seat if we unite around the right candidate. We believe that's Sarah.
She served in the Obama administration. She's passionate, smart, tough.
She gives us the best chance to beat the Republicans, win back the House, and pass a progressive agenda. So we're for Sarah Jacobs.
I'm Sarah Jacobs, and I approve this message.
I mean, we could, there's also, I would encourage all of you to go in and do some YouTube searches on the other candidates. I watched a really, really fun one from the K9 party candidate last night, where he's like, you know, what was it? Elephants and donkeys are done. It's time for dogs to rule. It's like, okay, all right, well, I'm sure he didn't pay a lot of money for this one. But anyway, you can see like where the money is being spent. And I don't know, $4.5 million. Can somebody please tell me where $4.5 million is spent? Actually, he's spent $4 million. He's got about $400,000 cash on hand. So can somebody please tell me where $4 million goes into a primary? You can only buy so many yard signs, you know. So anyway, and that's all I have on that. It's just really a great example of how messed up our system is, and it was in 2016 too. This is like 2016 on steroids. This is just the primary. It's kind of
When you think about, instead of spending all that money, having a system where instead of the candidates debate, they just answer Q&A from the public and do live streams and answer straight questions. You wouldn't even need that much money or that much time.
Right? Yeah, no, I don't know if you can hear Freeman, but he's suggesting, you know, what if we created a system basically where there's no money in the equation, but there is just a forum, a candidate forum, and it's interactive social media, probably platform, asking Q&A to all of the candidates. Like, what? I mean, obviously the answer is because there's people in power that don't want the people to have power. But these are the kind of examples of ways that we can improve the system, right? You know, fix the system instead of giving up on it. But it really does need a hard reset before we can do anything. And so, which actually leads me to another point that I kind of left out, is that the importance of social media and my social media network. I think it's crucial, you guys, that I think that is the only reason, well, not the only reason. I have a lot of, I have the right platform, but the only reason that I can really have my name recognized is because of my social media network. I can almost guarantee that part of that $4 million went to some kind of social media marketing, social media networking. So, you know, I guess what you guys give me is priceless in a way. Like, you can only you can only be fooled. You can only fool people so much with bots, right? With paid trolls and things like that. And really, so if you look at it, you know, this really is our movement. And the only reason that I can do this is because of you guys. This is the only reason that I can even compete in this thing. So I think that we should recognize what our strengths are and how powerful we are when we come together. So
there's a question. Do you trust this is from Justin. Do you trust the integrity of your election? And then you do have that Michael Vu screen.
Thank you, Justin, because that actually brings me right to my next point. Almost like that was
it wasn't set up,
scripted.
but it was like it.
There was this where's the Vu? There it is. There was a town hall or something like that, some forum that Hillary Clinton did, that it comes out that later on that they planted people in the audience, like, you know, it was one of those leaked emails that showed only, you know, ask the girl the question to the girl with the blue ribbon in her hair or whatever. So it's all smoke and mirrors. So this character on our screen, Michael Vu, I'm sure, I don't think that he follows my live streams, but if he did, he'd be pissed. But this character, Michael Vu, is actually what is holding us, is part of what's holding us back in this election and in elections all over the country. This is the San Diego County Registrar of Voter. This is the Registrar of Voters. This is Michael Vu, and he was convicted of election fraud in 2016, and he still has his job. So if there's one thing that we should all unite behind, no matter what, no matter who you're voting for, no matter what, if you're an American, you should really want to ensure that our elections are fair, and that if there is election fraud, there shouldn't be, but if there is election fraud, that proper punishments are placed on these people. We want to use this, punishments as a deterrent. This is not a small thing here. This is election fraud. This is our voice. If you still care, if you still believe, if you have a shred of belief that this government or that this structure can work, you must make sure your vote counts, or this is all for nothing. This is just where we have no say, and it is just smoke and mirrors, and we're just going to keep getting reality TV show hosts as president as we continue down this idiocracy road if we don't get this under control. So I would encourage everybody to call the San Diego County Register of Voters and ask them what they're going to do to make sure that the election fraud that happened in the 2016 primary does not happen in the 2018 primary.
Have you noticed that the people who complain about election fraud and all the corruption never seem to advocate open voting and open paper ballots that are just easily recountable?
Yes, I have noticed that, but it's at this point. I think that I am. I what's that?
You may want to repeat that.
Oh, okay. Can you paraphrase that a little bit?
The people who complain about corruption don't seem to be open to paper ballots.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, it's kind of odd that the people that complain about this corruption, they don't say anything about paper ballots. They don't come around to that conclusion. They just, but I guess I represent a camp of people that up until relatively recently believed that our elections were fair. Right? I believed that if we just went out and voted, then we could fix the problems. But I think a lot of people are just waking up to this reality and watched it in real time with the 2016 primary and general election. We watched it in real time. The votes get stolen. The votes switch. Just crazy things. We were all just becoming aware of the problem to begin with. So my hopes is that the people that are screaming about election fraud, like me, will actually go and do something about it. Like that, it's really all of our jobs to make sure that that now that we have addressed the problem, that we stop yelling and start acting. Is there any other questions?
Really.
Okay, so all right. Well, I guess I'll leave it at that. I'm going to be doing another interview tomorrow evening. There might be one a little bit earlier in the day, but I'll let you guys know as soon as I know. But I'm going to be interviewed by Real Progressives, Joy Mann, tomorrow at 6:00. So.
Justin mentioned, I've seen your ballot and it's paper. Do you want to talk about, the thing that I was mentioning is the paper ballots is something that you can count by hand as opposed to the machine.
Right. Because, Justin, the problem with ours, where the election fraud happened in our election, was that they left out a whole lot of people from being able to vote in the machine, with a machine, right? So like, let's say that you are like a lot of people in California, and we're going to vote for Hillary, but then watch the primaries, happen and Bernie get cheated. I think a lot of people at that point, and watched what happened in New York, where Donald Trump's daughter couldn't even vote for him because she didn't register in enough time, because it was just ridiculous amount of time. That you had to register before the vote. So, we were watching it, right? We were watching it come, and there were a lot of people who registered Democrat, just so that they could have the ability to vote in the machine, with the machine on election day, because that is the most instant vote that we get, right? Besides the ballots that come in before, the paper ballots, like the day of the election, the most instant vote that we get, the most instant tally that we get, comes from those voting machines, right? So anybody who registered to vote in the last 6 months before the presidential primary, they just didn't make it onto the machines. They had to go. They had a paper ballot, and that's it. They were automatically registered vote by mail. Also, they were not very clear with the Democratic crossover ballots, right? So you basically had to have a secret handshake as a non-party preference voter to be able to vote for Bernie Sanders. You had to ask for if you asked for a Democratic ballot, your vote wouldn't count. You had to ask for either a Democratic crossover ballot, or they would give you a provisional ballot. Now, provisional ballots, we have a whole lot of people in California, and we let a lot of people vote, right? So there's even some prisoners who get to vote in California. We've got very, very very lenient voting laws here, right? We want as many people to vote as possible, and they do, right? So when Michael Vu declared Hillary Clinton the winner, at least in San Diego, it was just based off of a sampling, I believe, of 1% of the machine votes. There was still a million votes not counted when he certified this vote. And especially because we know that most of those people were Bernie Sanders voters, there's a big problem with certifying the vote that early. It gives a way for a lot more once a vote is certified, right, it kind of is done in the minds of America, right? They just kind of move on to the next, right, once it's certified. But if it's not certified or whatever, or not certified, verified, it's not verified, and it's certified until like the very end. But once it's verified, people move on. They just move on to the next subject. But if it's left open, then people are like, oh, what's going? There's more eyes on the elected officials, on the voting officials. So basically, he certified it or verified it very quickly, and then it made it so that a lot of these votes were just able to be not counted properly, and there were a lot. I'm sure I think Bernie won the California primary. So I think we're going to need more than just paper ballots. But I think all paper ballots is a good start to fixing the problem.
And not counted by machines.
And not counted by machines. Yeah, exactly. Like who even? But do we even know who owns these machines? Right? Do we know? I mean, I'm sure they. Anyway, so that's just a whole other rabbit hole. I'm just going to leave it at that. But yeah, machines are just not accurate. They're easy. I talk about hacking. Those are able. Those can be hacked much easier by our own officials. So anything else? Okay, well, I guess I'll leave it here. And I will be back on again, like I said, tomorrow with Real Progressives Joy Man. And if you guys want to donate to the campaign, every little bit helps. Please go to CrowdPack or to, readytovomit.com. Our CrowdPack link is there. So, all right, then I guess have a great night, and I will see you guys tomorrow.